All right, today we're going to dive into a tech turnaround that's honestly more than just a success story, it's a playbook. We're looking at how Dropbox, actually cracked the code on one of the biggest challenges in tech right now, and that's getting their own super smart engineers to actually use the AI tools they were given. And what's really cool is how solving that internal puzzle unlocked their entire strategy for the rest of us.
I mean, this is the question for so many companies right now, isn't it? You can have the most powerful, cutting-edge technology on the planet, but if your smartest people won't touch it, what good is it? It's just expensive shelfware. And yeah, this was the exact wall Dropbox ran into.
And just look at this. This is what that transformation actually looks like in numbers. They went from what they called a low double-digit adoption rate. So think maybe 15%, 20%, super spotty usage, lots of friction, to over 90%. 90. That's not just an improvement, that is a complete cultural overhaul. So the big question is, how on earth did they pull that off? Well, that's the playbook we're going to get into.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit, because this incredible success story, it definitely didn't start with a bang. Nope, it started with the problem. A big one. Dropbox had to face the music and admit that their first shot at rolling out AI, well, it just wasn't working.
So, picture this. It's late 2023, and they roll out GitHub Copilot, a seriously powerful tool for engineers. But then, crickets. For more than a year, all through 2024, adoption just flatlined. Yeah, you had a few early adopters who were all in, but the huge majority of their engineers, they just weren't weaving it into their day-to-day work. It was sitting on the shelf.
So, what was going on here? The problem wasn't the tech itself. It was all about the people. You had some engineers who just didn't trust what the AI was spitting out. Then you had others who were like, okay, this is cool, but how do I even use it? And for a lot of them, it just felt like another hurdle in their workflow, creating more friction than it was worth. The bottom line, they just didn't see the value. It wasn't making their lives easier. And then, everything changed. This was the turning point. It happened when the leadership team stepped in and made a crucial decision. AI wasn't just going to be another tool on the list. No, it was going to be a core, non-negotiable part of the company's entire engineering strategy.
A huge piece of this puzzle was the arrival of their new CTO, Dasdan, in March of 2025. This guy came in with some serious AI expertise, and his job, right from day one, was to scale the company's AI efforts. I mean, you can't get a clearer signal than that. This was a massive commitment coming straight from the top.
Yeah, and this quote from Senior Director Namasivayam just nails it. She says, the turning point was strong leadership alignment, and that's key. It wasn't just about hiring a new exec. It was about everyone at the top getting on the same page. Suddenly, AI wasn't optional anymore. It was a company-wide priority. And that clarity, that unified message from the top, that was the spark that finally got things moving.
Okay, so they've got the leadership support. Now what? How did they actually get it done on the ground? Well, let's break down their playbook. It was a super clear three-part strategy designed to drive this massive change.
And this is where their approach gets really smart. See, they didn't just buy a bunch of licenses and say, here you go, hope you like it. No way. They treated this whole internal thing like they were launching a brand new product. There were three parts to it. First, constantly checking out the best third-party tools. Second, building their own custom stuff when nothing else fit. And third, and this is so important, a real, honest-to-goodness change management plan.
Their whole build versus buy strategy was just super pragmatic. It was all about solving the actual problem in front of them. If an outside tool like GitHub Copilot worked great, awesome, they'd use it. But if they hit a wall, a problem unique to Dropbox that no one else was solving, they weren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and build their own solution.
And they built some really specific stuff to fill those gaps. We're talking about custom AI helpers for these really gnarly, complex jobs, like massive code migrations, or automating tests, or even helping out when something breaks in the live product. These custom tools were so critical because they solved the exact headaches their own engineers were facing every single day.
So, if you're trying to do something similar, what's the advice? Well, Namasivayam boils it down to three main things. First, just remove friction. Make it dead simple to get started. Second, like we said, treat it like a product rollout. Have a real plan. And finally, maybe the most important thing of all, you have to listen to your engineers. You have to meet people where they are. That right there is the heart of their whole playbook.
Okay, and this is where the story gets even cooler, because this huge internal success, it wasn't just about making their own developers faster. It actually became the bedrock, the foundation for their entire external AI product strategy. They were building their future product without even realizing it at first. I mean, let's just look at that chart one more time. Going from something like 15% adoption all the way up to over 90%, that's not a small bump. That is a seismic shift in how an entire engineering team works, day in and day out.
So, what did that mean for the actual engineers? Well, the payoff was real. The data showed they were shipping more code. Plain and simple. They got to automate all that boring, tedious stuff, like writing tests, or what's called boilerplate code, which is just the basic setup stuff you have to type out again and again. It made starting new projects way less of a chore. And best of all, they were spending less time in meetings and more time actually coding. Win-win.
So, you take all these internal lessons, all this hard-won expertise from solving their own problems, and what do you get? Well, it all came together in a new product for all of us, Dropbox Dash.
So what exactly is Dash? They call it your AI teammate, and it's way more than just a fancy search bar. It's designed to connect to all your other tools, your Google Drive, Notion, Slack, the whole shebang, so you can find anything you need and actually make sense of it all in one place.
So what can it do? Let's break it down. It helps you find stuff with a universal search across all your apps. It can answer questions by, say, summarizing a super long document for you. It helps you organize your day with one central starting point. It helps you share things more intelligently, and it even helps secure your work by keeping an eye on things.
And look, they've got some pretty serious validation to back it up. This quote from the McLaren Formula One team, I mean, come on. When a team where every single millisecond is the difference between winning and losing says your tool helps them work faster, well, that's about as good an endorsement as you can get.
And that really brings us to the main takeaway of this whole story. Dropbox didn't just wake up one day and decide to build an AI product. They became their own first and toughest customer. They solved a genuinely difficult internal problem, built a whole culture around the solution, and then packaged all that battle-tested knowledge into a product for everyone else.
So, what's the big idea to leave you with? Well, this whole journey from Dropbox shows that AI is quickly shifting from just being a tool to being a true collaborator. The question for all of us isn't if AI is going to change how we work. That ship has sailed. The real question is, how are you going to use it to transform how you get your most important stuff done? What's your playbook going to look like?